What's up, everybody? It's John Neighbors from Inside Arkansas with your latest transfer portal update here with the Arkansas Razorbacks. As it is that time of year, even though the season's not even technically over yet, it is going to be where you're having a lot of players leave schools, transfer into schools, just here in the portal in general. And we have our first one here, at least major one, of the Arkansas Razorback football team. It is Davion Dozier, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. And this is, of course, according to a report here from the college transfer portal, saying that sources is saying that wide receiver Davion Dozier plans to enter into the transfer portal. Now, a lot of you may have heard this name and you're like, oh yeah, Davion Dozier. Wait a minute, who is he? Which I can understand. I can totally understand that. But Davion Dozier, just to give you a little bit of high school background on him, he was a four-star player coming out of high school. He's, of course, from Moody, Alabama. He was 6'3.5", about 200 pounds. And he was a huge get for Arkansas as he decided to take his talents to the Razorbacks over Duke and Maryland. And he was the number 21 player in the state of Alabama, number 49 wide receiver, and everything. I remember when Arkansas was putting together this class of theirs back in 2023. You had some guys like a Jalen Braxton, which we'll talk about, as well as Luke Haas, Quincy Rhodes, some really big gets there. But Davion Dozier right there, as you can see, being there in the four-star element there, according to 24/7 Sports. But according to the reports, it's not official yet, but according to reports, he has entered into the transfer portal. So you're going to look at right here, kind of just to give you a background of what he did while he was at Arkansas in 2023. He redshirted in his first season. Played in 3 games, caught 1 pass for 14 yards and a touchdown in his collegiate debut against Western Carolina there. And then he redshirted. He didn't really play much at all last season. But this year, I wouldn't say that he was somebody that Arkansas was really going to count on, or that I was expecting him to be a player that Arkansas would count on, but really never saw the field. He had 1 catch, 1 reception from Malachi Singleton during the 3rd quarter of UAPB, and that was it. That was it. That was the end of the deal there with Davion Dozier, and really just couldn't see the field. Which, again, if you look at his size, I mean 6'3.5", 6'4", about 200 pounds. And I know that you're not going to always get those players right when they're coming out of high school and knowing exactly who they're going to be or how good they're going to be. But still, this kind of a disappointing that he never really saw the field much at all. I mean, you're talking about in 2 seasons. I know one of them he was redshirting, but in 2 seasons, he caught 2 passes. And both of them, one was 13, one was 14 yards, and that's pretty much it. So not necessarily a surprise here from Davion Dozier deciding to go into the transfer portal. Nothing surprising there, but still not something that you ever want to see happening in college football in general. But, this is one of those things too, folks, where if you think about the transfer portal in general, you're always going to be looking at it as, okay, is it something where he got told that he needed to leave? Was it, as they call it, processing? Was it one of those things that Davion Dozier went through? Maybe so. Maybe we'll get an actual idea of what all went down and what all happened in his current situation. But the wide receiver room in general is going to be pretty interesting, because this year it's actually been, I wouldn't say as good as what I thought it would be, but it's definitely been a lot more improved from the year before. It's still crazy that Andrew Armstrong only has 1 touchdown, even though he's going to end up with like 1,000 yards. So really annoying and really frustrating there. But still, you're talking about a wide receiver group that's going to be having a lot of players moving on in this offseason. Just to name a few, technically, Isaac TeSlaa can come back from my understanding. It's kind of weird now with the COVID season. This is the final year it's going to be a problem. So I am so thrilled to where we can go back to have 5 years to play 4, because this craziness of like, oh, he's a redshirt senior. Well, he still technically has a year to come back. Oh, he's a redshirt super duper senior. Yeah, well, technically he can come back. It's like, no, just I don't want to know that anymore. Just tell me, have you played for 4 years? Have you been in college for 5, but have you played for 4? Oh, you have? Okay, you're done. I just can't wait to get back to that. But from my understanding, I believe Isaac TeSlaa can return if you'd like. But Tyrone Broden's moving on. Andrew Armstrong is moving on, which is also not a surprise at all. You're also going to be having a few players that's probably going to move on via the transfer portal or whatever it may be. But you're talking about Isaiah Satania is really the only player of note. And again, assuming that Isaac TeSlaa moves on, maybe he comes back, don't know. But besides him, you're looking at a bunch of wide receivers who didn't play much at all this season. Jordan Anthony did get a little bit of run. He's eligible to come back too. But besides that, C.J. Brown saw him on occasion. He will be back. Bryce Stevens, some people even forget, and he's one of those. I forget that he's still on the team. He's a guy that I thought was a punt return specialist and could do a really good job returning some of those punts and being able to go down the field, but just hasn't happened yet. So you're looking at him technically could return if he'd like to, but you never know with these guys entering the transfer portal. Can't forget about Monty Harrison, the what was it, the 35? Not 35. That's how old I am. 36, actually. No, he's about to turn 30. 29. The guy who played Major League Baseball for a long time came in, and I didn't know what to expect out of him. I didn't know what type of player he would be, what type of athlete he would be. I did expect to see him a little bit this season, but we didn't get to see nothing, like literally nothing for Monty Harrison. So maybe after a year in the offseason and spring practice and all that, he'll be able to get going and come back a little bit. But that's pretty much it, folks. I guess Coffrey Brown is not going to be around next season, as he's also a redshirt senior. So he's going to be moving on. But that's it. So you're really going to have to hit the transfer portal to get some wide receivers in there. I know that Bobby Petrino has always had a lot of faith in the guys that he's always recruited. None of these guys really were the guys that he ended up recruiting. So, it's going to be interesting to see what he does there in the portal, especially because he has his wide receiver coach in there, and they know how important it is with Taylon Green, assuming he's coming back next season, that he's going to have some guys to throw to, and they're going to have to try to build that up and try to get that going. So I expect him to hit the portal hard, because right now, again, you're talking about Isaiah Satania and Jordan Anthony. And who's to say these guys will stay? And it's not that I have any thoughts or any legitimate reason to believe any of these guys will leave after the season is over. But just in this day and age in college football, folks, there's no guarantees. You have no idea who's going to end up hitting the portal and who's not going to be ending up hitting the portal. But just assuming until they hit the portal, these are the guys they're going to have. Those will be the ones. It'd be great if you could get Teslaw back for another season. Again, I don't think you can. It's really hard to understand what all goes into it, but I don't think you can. But even if you can't, you're still going to have Isaiah Satania and Jordan Anthony. That's pretty much it. So got to hit the portal there. And who knows about Monty Harrison? Well, he'll be somebody that plays a little bit. It's going to be someone like Desmond James. Is he going to find his way onto the field? Don't really know. I mean, does Bryce Stevens just exist? Is he still just hanging out? What's going to happen there? Wide receiver is going to be very interesting, but what we do know is that it's going to be without Davion Dozier, as he is entering to the portal. Reports have said he's entering into the portal, and we're going to try to keep you updated on each and every player, folks of note, that enter into the portal for the Razorbacks, as well as any player for additions or anything like that. So be sure to subscribe to us right here at Inside Arkansas, as we're going to have the latest and greatest up-to-date information on all things for the transfer portal over the next week or two. It's going to get wild. It's going to get crazy. So you better hit that subscribe button, and you better hit that bell so that way you get notified whenever we put a video up, because we're going to be flooding them out as soon as it happens. As soon as reports come out, legitimate reports come out that it happens, we're going to keep you updated right here at Inside Arkansas. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like the video. We appreciate you all. We'll see you next time here on the Pod of That Nature Transfer Portal Update with Inside Arkansas. I'm John Neighbors. Have a good one, folks.